It is Saturday morning cartoons, the first Saturday morning cartoons of June 2024. If you'll excuse me, I'll just take a little sip of coffee. Join me, if you will. Princess of Discs. Okay, she is perhaps one of the most mysterious of all of the tarot cards, especially in the Thoth Tarot. Now, why is she so mysterious? Well, because she is the climax of the descent into matter. And the climax, so as low as you can go. Okay. Totally everything that's going to manifest gets itself manifested right there. It's as low as it can go. And when it hits that lowest or the low, nadir, it explodes and a whole brand new, fresh cycle begins anew. So there's two kinds of zero that this represents, okay? And that two kinds of zero is all wrapped up into the two mysterious zeros of the greater arcana of the tarot and the Hebrew letters that whose concept they represent. That dark nadir, that climax of the descent into matter, the zero that represents the totality of all manifested things, that the manifested universe jumps back into pre-existence, is right there. That zero there represented by the universe card and the inscrutable planetary sphere of Saturn. Now, Saturn isn't your ordinary planetary sphere like Jupiter and Sun even. Okay. Saturn finds its place on number 3 on the tree of life above the abyss. It's the opening act of the three-part supernal triad. But it's also the very beginning that's the path that also joins 10 to 9 and it's introduction to the whole tree of life. So it's the beginning and the end. It's the omega that is the springboard of alpha and omega. Okay. That is the inscrutable zero Saturn. And we could look at it as, from a Thelemic point of view, it's kind of like the Hadit, singularity, the inscrutable, positionless, dimensionless point. And if you were going to identify yourself at the beginning of a ritual, if you were going to identify yourself before you do an act of magic, if you were to identify yourself as the target of all your invocations, that's where you would like to identify. So let's just put that right here and represent that as us. Now, in the cube of space that I always drag out, I'm beating this old cube of space up. That is right there. This here is that black point right there. And it will eventually extend itself in 3 dimensions to create this cube of space, the field of operation for all your magic to take place. Now, the Princess of Discs has a wand in her hand. And that wand, actually, that even though it's pointed down, that's the tip of the wand. Okay, and it's a diamond. It's a diamond that's in the form of uh, a tetrahedron, double tetrahedron, which is carbon, Earth. Here's what Crowley says about the Princess of Discs right at first. Princess of Discs is the last of the court cards, represents the earthy part of Earth. She is consequently on the brink of transition. She is strong and beautiful with an expression of intense brooding, as if about to become aware of a secret wonder. Her crest is the head of the ram, and her scepter descends into the earth. There its head becomes a diamond, the precious stone of Kether, number 1. Thus symbolizing the birth of the highest and purest light in the deepest and darkest of the elements. I have a wand here, okay? I took a picture of both sides of it on my Facebook page this morning to sort of prepare you. Forgive me if I can't recall or discover the name of the individual that sent this to me, but it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And please identify yourself and remind me, because you sent this to me quite a few years ago. But anyway, that diamond is represented right there. And this Kabbalah wand, is what I call it, is broken up into 3 sections. The top section there are the 3 mother letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Okay, and their astrological counterparts. Okay, supernal triad counterparts. But actually, they are also primitive air, water, fire. Aleph, Mem, Shin. The Fool, the Hangman, and the Aeon, or the Judgment, Last Judgment card. In the second section are the double letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Bet, Gimel, Daleth, Kaf, Pei, Resh, and Saturn. Then the third section are the Hebrew letters that represent the zodiacal signs. Okay, the zodiacal signs of Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Okay. Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Lamed, Nun, Samak, Oyin, Tzadi, Pei. That's the zodiac in order. Okay. It's like that. Isn't that cool? Okay, the Hebrew letters there for the planets. And there they are. Now, those planets are in a certain order that is very interesting when you start thinking in terms of, well, how do I express all of this in something that I can identify with myself as a magician? Now, most of us are familiar with the classic, fundamental, lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, where, in a sense, you not only do you sort of clean up your magical environment of the room that you're working in, but you're identifying yourself as an entity in a certain dimension. And the dimension of a classic lesser pentagram ritual is just to assert that you're aware of yourself in a dimension that's easily pictured as being a flat earth with the sun going up and down, and you got an east and the west, and the quarters are identified sort of just by the terrestrial winds. You got your air and the more, okay. But what if you have that in mind, and of course the hexagram ritual identifies you as the sun surrounded by the belt of the zodiac. Well, all that's fine and good, and uh, when you first memorize it, you're learning Hebrew Kabbalistic words for angels and things like that that may or may not resonate with you. Sure, I like Yehovah, and I like Adonai, and I like Ehyeh and Agla, but I need to at least start with something more visceral and personal than God names of gods I don't worship. And I was thinking, as a matter of fact, this is a big part of my that new book that's coming out next year. Um, there's a way for those of us who are into the tarot to sort of create our own equivalent of the lesser banishing ritual opening. Okay. And I thought about using the dynamics of this. So, first of all, you would take your universe Tav Saturn card and identify it yourself with that by putting that card right in your pocket and identifying with that inscrutable zero that is the prelude to the kickoff of an entire new cycle. And hold your wand right here, in the same way that you would start a banishing ritual of the pentagram, or at least the Kabbalistic cross section of it, okay? And you'd start from the very beginning, just like creation. Aleph, Mem, Sheen. Up, down, front, back, right, left. So using your wand, you'd go Aleph, the fool. Mem, the hanged man. Sheen, the tower. Excuse me. Sheen, the Aeon. Aleph, Mem, Sheen. Above me, Bet, the magician. Beneath me, Gimel, the high priestess. Before me, Dalath, the empress. Behind me spins the wheel of fortune, Kaf. On my left hand, Pe, the tower. On my right hand, Resh, the sun. For about me spins the wheel of the zodiac. Aleph, Mem, Sheen. Or whatever you would choose to do. Do you see what I just did? Okay, we're facing, let's see, we're facing east, or I'm facing east. And in the east, okay, but we start off above me. See, above wall, Mercury, Bet. Okay, beneath me, Gimel, the high priestess. On my, or before me, so that would be before me, see on the east wall, Daleth, or the Empress. And behind me, whoop, the Wheel of Fortune, Kaf. On my right hand, excuse me, on my left hand, because I'm going to take it in order, in my left hand is Pei, the tower, and on my right hand is Resh, the sun. For about me rings the belt of the zodiac. And you're right in the middle, going Aleph, Mem, Shin. Now that would just be the beginning of your musings on that, and I'm sure that you could develop a ritual of your own. As a matter of fact, I would expect you to, if you sort of grasp the basic method to this madness. And it certainly would set the stage for the temple that you're in. Now, you could get very hands-on with it and take a little bit of that, we used to call it blue tack. Okay, it's like bubble gum that that doesn't leave a stain. Okay, and it doesn't ruin things. You could take your deck of tarot cards, and on the floor of your empty temple, you could put the well, on the ceiling, you could stick the magician. So you'd look up at above and see the magician card, and it's bet and everything it represents. And on the floor, you'd stick your high priestess card for your Gimel. And on the east wall in front of you, you'd put the high priestess, and on the west wall, you would stick your Wheel of Fortune card, and on the north wall you would put your Tower card, and on the south wall you'd put your Sun card. Okay, and you'd walk around, strut around in the middle of that room as the universe card. Then you would picture yourself standing upright and identify yourself with the Fool that joins the top and the bottom, literally creates above and below. And then to your front and back, you would sort of identify yourself horizontally there, front and back, with the Hanged Man and Mem. And on your left and right, you would identify with Sheen, Aleph Mem Sheen, giving you the dimensions, with you as the center, and the six other planetary spheres as your walls. Does that make any sense? Because that's your temple. That's the temple you're in, whether you realize it or not, whether you recognize it or not. If you're walking around sucking your breath in and out in a dimension that appears to have an up and a down and a right and a left and a front and a back, you're already in that temple. So why not affirm the fact that that's where you are? To me, it makes a whole lot more sense than to start off, well, yeah, I'm on a flat earth. That's my reality. Or, oh, yeah, I'm the sun surrounded by the belt of the zodiac. That's a little closer, but this is a dimensional affirmation that you are the reflection of the temple of the universe that you're in. And the tarot and this incredibly cool wand is your cheat sheet to start musing on those concepts. Is that good enough for Saturday morning cartoons? Well, I hope so, because that's where I'm going to end this today. And I will see you tomorrow for Sunday school. Until then, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.